the 5 things that you can do to help your clients that most coaches aren't even thinking about.
You mean it's not just working out?
Is that the thing that we all show up for?
Let's dive into these.
The whole purpose of this conversation is to give you some tools that you can use with intention and to just start changing the way that you're thinking about how you're helping your clients. Because look, the workout, I talk about this at the flagship very often with the professionals over there. It's 20% of the thing that people are actually coming for. The programming is 20% of the thing that they're coming for. It might be the thing that they think that they're coming for in the beginning, but it's not the value that you're actually giving, because if that's your value proposition, you're getting replaced. You're getting replaced by AI or online programs or somebody who can do it faster at scale, cheaper, easier. So let's start with the first one. This principle around strategic rest. What is strategic rest?
Strategic rest is any intentionally organized period where you are structuring time for yourself that is completely protected from anything that someone else could be a part of or that you could participate in yourself. Examples. It's time away from partner, friends, kids, dog, cell phone, TV. It doesn't have to be, but it has to be restful. It has to be restful. And the idea here is that in the same way that we block out time for all of our responsibilities and priorities, taking our kids to school, working out, going to work, dating our partners, whatever it is, we need to take time to recover. We talk about the difference between the loads we place ourselves and how much capacity we have in recovering from all of that. Rest is where gains happen. And rest doesn't inhibit progress. I think in this go culture that we have, people think that rest is time that you're slowing down, you're stopping, you're losing out on other people winning the race. But rest is the foundation of where gains are made, from what we found.
So does this actually mean like, all right, I'm going to cut out all of those things that you had mentioned and I'm going to lay on the couch or in the bed and just stare at the ceiling for 30 minutes?
It could be. It could be that either way, it's you structuring and protecting non-negotiable, untouchable time where your job right now is to rest, whatever is restful. If it's sitting in your garden, if it's lying in your bed, if it's sitting in a meditation, if it's going for a gentle walk, whatever feels truly restful for you. Even if it's like, if you're someone who wants to sit on the couch and strum on your guitar, if it's truly restful for you, then it's rest. But you have to ask yourself honestly, am I resting right now or am I working? Am I engaging? Is my brain working real hard? Because if your brain's working real hard, you're not resting either. It's not just physical. The idea here is that you're scheduling it and you're treating this as seriously as you would treat any of your tasks that you are responsible for doing.
So it's probably not something that's cognitively engaging.
It's not cognitively engaging.
We're not playing games. We're not reading.
I used to think like walking the dog's chill time. Not for me, man. Like I'm training my dog the whole time I'm walking my dog 4 times a day. That's not walking the dog is not restful to me. So you have to be honest with yourself about whether you're being restful or not.
Okay, so there's intentional strategic rest.
Structured, non-negotiable, untouchable time. Do you need a 90-minute nap right now? Is it a 10-minute meditation? Are you literally just going to close your eyes for 60 seconds? I don't care. But it's starting to dose in strategic, structured time for rest.
Does this happen every day?
Depending on what you need in your life, it could. It depends on how restful you already feel you are. If you're someone who's like, dude, I'm drowning all the time, then I would probably start microdosing, right? If you're someone who's just like, I feel pretty good and like a good day off will do it for me. And maybe that means that you're just letting yourself sleep in one day and you're getting up at 8:30 instead of 7 or whatever it is. If that does it and you feel on top of the world from that, that's the dose that you needed.
All right. So if we're thinking about implementing this with clients, how do we start to implement or help them?
This is a perfect example of where I think that people will start to say, that's not a personal trainer's job or that's not a coach's job. Well, whose job is it? Whose job is it?
Right.
How many people do they need? Who's going to do it? If someone were already doing it for them, then we wouldn't have this problem. Whose job is it? It's your job if you want to make it be your job. If you want to make yourself indispensable and unreplaceable, Irreplaceable, sorry. It is your job. So when you can sit down with your client and start to audit their week with them, and there are a lot of things to audit across a week, but this idea of helping a client audit their week is a game changer for a practitioner because most people aren't helping them do it. They don't know how to do it themselves. When you could help a client audit their week and start to gauge and measure, where are your energy drains? Where are your energy gains? What is that? What's your spread of energy across the week? Where are you tied up? Where are you free? What do you wish you could do more of? What do you wish you could do less of? What's your availability for this? That's as a first step. I mean, that's getting you miles and miles of gains there.
All right. So that's an easy implementation tool.
Audit your client's week. Start to look at where it can happen and what kinds of things they can see themselves starting to use as rest opportunities. Does someone have a meditation practice? Are they just rusty? Is that something they could dust off again? If not, can someone commit to just deciding to close their eyes on the couch for 5 minutes? There's no skill involved in that.
Right.
So whatever the person can do is what you have to take audit of.
Okay. The second piece, or the second concept rather, emotional pre-regulation.
I love this one.
What do you love about it?
A lot of people talk about stress management. To me, that's reactive.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What do you take when I say that? When I say it's reactive?
All right, we're going to assume that there is this stress being imposed, and now you're going to have to do something as a result of that. It's by nature, it's reactive. It's
Correct.
not proactive.
Correct. That's how I see it too. What do I do about this stressor and this dose of stress that I now feel? What do I do about this? Well, what can we do to put yourself in a position where stress wouldn't even touch you the same way? I don't know why I think about it this way, but I think about you having something that literally slides or bounces off of you differently than something has impacted you. Now, what do I do with the fact that my body is now in this state? It's very, very different. Emotional pre-regulation to me is starting to anticipate, first and foremost, what are the things that typically stress me out? What are the things that I can do to put my body in a state where it would be more resilient to any stressors anyway? Because that's a thing.
Sure.
That's a thing. Those are two small examples of ways that I see people being able to pre-regulate themselves instead of reacting and trying to manage all of their stressors.
Yeah. One of the things one of my mentors told me yesterday is like having no big deal energy.
Yeah.
No big deal.
It's huge.
Versus taking that brick, throwing it in the backpack, and letting it be the thing that weighs you down. And one of the tools that I've taught clients and I've been taught is something called the ABCs. So the ABCs are a really simple tool to use when you notice yourself. It is slightly reactionary, but you can start to use this proactively too to set yourself in a better emotionally regulated state. ABC stands for awareness, breathe, and connect. So we become aware, right? The example that I love to use, my wife and I, we clean the house just like everybody in a relationship. You clean the house like there's something to do almost all of the time, right? So,
yeah.
Right? So I asked my wife, I'm like, hey, in the morning before I go, hey, will you make sure that dinner is done tonight because you have the day off? I get home, dinner's not even started yet. So I just start doing dinner because it's less energy for me in the moment to just do it rather than to ask again. But I get angry about it as I'm doing it. So I can start to go through the awareness. Okay, I'm feeling something right now. What am I feeling? I'm feeling angry. Start to breathe. We want parasympathetic breathing, longer inhale than exhale.
Can we pause here for a second?
Yes.
What I want people to be able to see here is that the decision that you're making right now, I know that people are thinking about this impending conversation between you and Amanda.
Yeah.
What I think is important for people to see, for those of you who are thinking that, is the decision that you just made is for you first and foremost. Either way, it's what can I do to be as healthy as possible given what I'm upset about right now, no matter what? How could I be as healthy as possible? And you are doing that in part knowing that whatever conversation you have with Amanda is going to be healthier.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the state that you're creating.
Right. Because I'm practicing the ABCs, because I'm down regulating.
It's for you first, and everyone wins as a result of you doing it.
Yes. So we create the awareness first. I'm angry. Got it. Start breathing, parasympathetic, down regulate the nervous system. And then we want to connect. That's the C. Connect. Go and explore where is this coming from. And when I've done this exercise in the past, one of the things that came up for me was when I had asked previous partners to help me out and be helpful and they didn't do it, it was a sign that the relationship wasn't in a good place or it was going to end or fail. So I start consciously, unconsciously bringing all of that baggage into my current. And that's what I get angry about because I'm assuming that, you know what, she actually just doesn't care.
She doesn't care. Yeah.
When the reality is she might've had, who knows what happened throughout the day. She had a whole day,
Right.
a whole experience. And it fell by the wayside. So now I can go connect with that. I can better understand myself. And when we have the conversation, I can give her deeper insight into me as a person. Hey, when I ask you to do something like make dinner and it's 7 o'clock at night and I get home and it's not done, in the past, what that has meant for me was that my partner was checked out because the relationship wasn't in a healthy place or it was over. So when that happens, that's where my mind goes first.
Well, the other thing that I want to point out for anyone who might be thinking, got it, so whatever Cody says goes in this relationship, I want to add color because I know that's not how your relationship works. This also, I imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, assumes that Amanda was like, yeah, that makes total sense. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
And that's something that she agrees to and she says is reasonable.
Yes.
Wanted to make
The
sure
making dinner part.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Because she has the day off. She understands like
Two people talked about it, agreed upon it. Seems like a good idea.
It wasn't Cody
Not
walking out in the
dictatorship.
morning and being
Yeah.
like, have dinner done when I get home
Right.
or else.
I just wanted to make absolutely sure no one was expecting that. All right. So that's the ABC of that, right? So you're aware, all right, I'm pissed. Let me change the way I feel about this right now. Start exploring with Amanda why this happens. And then first of all, find out is Amanda okay?
Yeah.
And then if she is, let's talk about how this happens. Maybe we could organize ourselves across time differently, have a little more awareness around that for everyone.
Yep. Better relationship as an outcome.
Beautiful.
So that's just one tool we can use for that emotional pre-regulation.
Okay.
Helps us get proactive versus reactive.
Okay.
The third concept, healthy selfishness. What is healthy selfishness?
I think that there is an overwhelmingly negative connotation with the word selfish. How many times have you heard or have people here heard in general, don't be so selfish, or you're so selfish with a condemning tone?
Yeah. No,
Right?
I've never heard anybody use that to somebody else. They're like, you know, you're so selfish.
Right. Wow, you're so selfish. I really admire you.
So it's my favorite part about you.
Right. That doesn't. It has been baked into us that being selfish is a thing that we should avoid and that we should condemn. I think that creates an enormous amount of mental health issues because you have legions of people, hordes. What's the word I'm looking for here? Swaths.
Yep.
You have millions and millions and millions and millions of people that have decided for themselves, all right, I'm doing something that's not good for me right now. I feel bad from it. And I should keep doing it because to do something that I feel would be safe for me or good would be selfish. So therefore I shouldn't do it. So I should keep doing the thing that's not good for me. It's literally causing me harm, but I should keep doing it because so-and-so would call me selfish.
It's the coach who takes the client at the time of day when they said that they weren't going to take clients.
Correct. That hurts the coach, to make sure we're clear.
Yeah.
That hurts the coach.
It hurts the coach. It's also, you end up over time delivering a worse product.
Yes. When we think about healthy selfishness, the analogy that I've always gone to is there is not a mother that can healthily breastfeed if she is not eating enough first. You don't breastfeed first and then make sure that you get it in. You have to have enough nutrition day to day. I think breastfeeding burns 500 calories an hour.
Wow.
500 calories an hour. That's more than most workouts. Way more than most workouts. So when you think about healthy selfishness, it's what do I need to do to make sure that I'm first and foremost safe, and then second after safety can thrive and be well. I think that there are more than 5 out of 10 people on average that struggle with the idea of creating conditions that ensure that they are going to be well because they think it's a zero-sum game of either I'm well or someone else is well. That's nonsense. That's not how it has to be. So healthy selfishness is doing things to prioritize that you're okay.
So how do you help a client start to make these decisions or bring awareness to areas where they have an opportunity for healthy selfishness?
I think the first one is by helping them audit where do they feel like they are costing themselves? Like where do they feel like, hey, when you do this, like in a small dose, like you're doing yourself harm here. Like what doesn't feel good that you have to deal with all the time? And then start to audit, well, what's within your control to start to set a boundary around that? Mm-hmm. So it's auditing what are major energy drains, or what are things that make you feel unwell or that upset you mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically. How do we start to set a small boundary around that so you can start protecting yourself a little bit better?
Mm-hmm. I think in our industry, it's so easy to use the example of the time and the schedule and the boundaries that you can place around that. Because, being a former gym owner, and even in the role that I have now, there's this identity that gets attached, this whole like martyrdom and self-sacrifice that gets attached in this industry as something that is noble. Because look, I give everything to my clients. I go out of my way to make sure that they can get what they need. And what we miss there is you're pouring from an empty cup.
It's great. Your kids get a shell of a dad when you get home.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great. Yes. All right. Healthy selfishness. Concept number 4 is facilitating community and connection experiences with intention.
You've done a good job in the past of helping me understand the difference between different kinds of communities. What's your take on people engaging with community intentionally, especially in the world we live in today?
Yeah, I think that there's levels to this, and it's not a yes or no. It's a spectrum, right? Because you can have an online community in the video game that you play.
A bar is a community too.
A bar is a community,
right?
There's the gym that you go to could be the community. You could have a community at work. Like we all create. We are communal beings. We find pockets of community. The question that I want to ask as the professional here, as the coach for the client that I'm working with, is what's the intention that's created around this? Is it people are getting together for a shared and common good? In a gym, for example, the answer could be yes. Okay, are the things that you're doing with that community in alignment with the value that you guys say are most important to you? In our space, often it's health and fitness. So your community events, what do those look like? Is it you guys going out and doing something fun and active, or is it you guys meeting up, having a barbecue and a bunch of beers?
Right.
That to me speaks to an action that is out of alignment with the value that you say is important to you.
I see.
Intentional ways that we create that over at the flagship, and we have an SOP for this, is within the first 100 days, a new client is introduced to a current client, someone who's been there for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. And the client that they're connected to is somebody that is either in a similar phase of life or shared a similar experience, right? Like, I've got 2 grandkids now. I want to be active with them. Oh, meet Beth. Beth also has 2 grandkids, and she was just telling me about how she did this thing with them. I think you guys would really hit it off. I'll let you 2 have it. And just get out of the way. You can do that in person. You can do it through a text message. Obviously, make sure both parties are okay with it before you do the text message connection. And it's not like you don't have to sit there and make sure that they become friends. It's just you making the connection with some level of intention.
I see.
It could be people who have similar anatomical differences, right? Chuck has a knee replacement. Chuck, meet Bill. Bill just had a knee replacement 8 weeks ago. I imagine you 2 have some things that you can connect on.
Yeah, they do.
And then you get out of the way.
Okay. I see another angle to this. I think that whatever the community is, I do believe that there is a growing need for people to be in person with people. Because I'm finding that if you don't regularly go to bars or restaurants or whatever it is, I know a lot of people that are very good at not interacting with other people because they don't live with anyone else, for example, right now, or maybe they do. They drive to work, they do work for 8 hours, they drive back, and then they're like, well, I don't have any time or energy for anything right now, maybe this weekend. And the weekend happens and it doesn't happen because they're just resting. And it becomes very easy to feel very disassociated.
Yeah.
And I think that anytime someone can make, like you said, an intentional decision to meet someone that is going to share something meaningful, whether it's a value or an experience or an interest or a passion, your life is much, much richer. Think about what one of your good relationships means to you. And think about life would be like without that. Think about how much more rich it is with it. There there's an infinite amount of that you can have. And if you don't have it and you're impoverished in that way, I do believe it is essential that you can help your clients, especially ones that you think are not engaged or could benefit from positive social interaction, to encourage them to do that and explore ways that they can.
Yeah, I think we sometimes take for granted that because we're seeing the person and they might be semi-sociable in the setting that we're in, that they've probably got a lot of friends. They probably have plenty of pillars of support.
Right.
When the worst thing that happens by making that connection with intention is they get a little bit of experience from somebody else and they don't take it any further.
If you think about the population that's 40 years old and older, we're not there yet, but as you get to 40, 50, 60, 70, we're starting to talk about major differences in cognitive health from regular positive social engagement. So it's going to be important for people to have that skill sharpened, because it's hard to learn how to start making friends at 80 if you haven't been doing it since you were 40.
Right. It certainly, and it becomes just harder to do in general because you're not exposed to a variety of experiences where you're going to meet different people.
That's right.
Right. So being the coach who creates some intention around that can certainly set you apart. The fifth concept we have here is called courageous growth. What is courageous growth?
What comes to mind for me here is being vulnerable and transparent with someone that you have decided that you can trust, respect, and admire. Maybe not in that order. Maybe admire, respect, and trust. And on the other side of that trust, it means that you're engaging in a conversation that costs you some emotional energy to have, because you're talking about something that's really important to you that might be hard to talk about, but it would indicate a really important change in your life. So an example of this might be you want to change the way that you show up in relationship with your spouse. You want to start dating, but you've been afraid to. You want to improve your physical health. You want to learn something new. You want to make more money in one way or another. You're not happy with some aspect of your life that you'd like to change. Finding someone that you respect, admire, and decide that you can trust means that you're bringing candid conversation with them, sharing an important goal or two, what your thoughts are on how to do it, and then asking them for honest feedback about that process, because you've decided that they would have something smart to say about it. You helping your clients, if you don't know your clients' goals outside of workouts, I don't think you know your clients well enough. And so if you know your clients' goals that way, and you can ask them, what kind of movement do you have going on there? If you're not the person that they could turn to about it, you can encourage them to go to a person that they can. And if you know that person, connect them.
Yeah, I like how you pulled the example around the things outside of the workout.
That's what we're talking about here.
Because I think we sometimes get hyper focused on the goals inside of the facility.
I will say though, it doesn't mean that it's not a good example. I'll share why. There's someone on staff here. I don't want to share who it is in case the person's family member might not want to be implicated in this. There's a person on staff here who has a sister who is a mother and a wife, and for a very long time she's been very unhealthy, like dangerously unhealthy, a good amount overweight. And we had conversations about how she can start that conversation with her sister to create change. That sister has been working with a personal trainer for like 8.5 months now, and is healthier in the last 8 months than she's been in the last 8 years. So it can be about this. And it just means that you're teaching people how to start conversations that are important. It could be that your client says like, hey, I love what we've been doing together. My husband needs to make changes and I can't get him to do anything. Teaching them how to start that conversation might be helpful, or how to talk to someone who could help them with that conversation could be helpful.
Yeah, that's a great example. I want to dive into that just a little bit as we wrap up this, because I think that's such a powerful example that I imagine a lot of coaches and trainers run into.
I'm sure.
So I'm doing this thing. My wife has seen me on this journey for the last year, but I can't get her to get going. I don't know what to do, Larry. Where do we go?
It's always questions. It's always questions. The truth is, if your relationship, it's also contingent upon the nature of your relationship right now. If this wife would say something, I'm not talking to you about this, no matter how it goes, You could ask a question around why not. Like, you need to find out, like, is your relationship, it literally could be that couples therapy is the priority for you to establish the kind of relationship that would allow you to have a conversation about health. It could be. If you're in a place where you could start talking about health, then you need to be asking the right questions. And what you can do is you can role play the conversation with your wife, with your client. You could ask, who do you want to be? You want to be you, I'll be your wife. You could even ask, if you're not sure, what do you think she would say to that? What would you say to that? What do you think she would say to that? What would you say to that? A lot of time it's in people, and they just need to be prompted to have that unfoldment happen. But when people, what I've found is that, and we have this a lot in ethical sales role play, when people can see 5, 10, 20 steps down the road in conversation, they're really confident about having it. And so I would recommend that as a way that you can start helping your clients field that conversation.
Okay, that's helpful. 5 things: strategic rest, emotional pre-regulation, healthy selfishness, facilitating intentional community and connection experiences, and courageous growth.
Love it. What's not to love?
Anything else we want to add on these topics?
On these topics, no. I just thought of a joke that Eddie Murphy shared during his stand-up special, Delirious. If you want to know what it is, you'll have to tune into the next episode, where I may or may not state it.
Thanks, Larry.
See ya.
I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Active Life podcast. If you did, please head to wherever you listen and leave us that 5-star rating. It really does go a long way. 5 stars goes a long way. Please leave them. If you're interested in working with us as a coach, remember, we help coaches from around the world build fulfilling careers, working with clients they're inspired to help so they never have to worry about being able to pay your bills again. No one's ever going to ask you if you're going to get a real job when you work with Active Life. All you have to do, head into the show notes, click the link that you find there, download our curriculum. That will give you a feel for what it is going to take for you to be successful. A team member of ours will reach out to you to find out if it's a fit for us to work together. Until the next show, turn pro.